All right, everyone, welcome back. Another edition of The History Buffs. We're getting right in to the Electoral College.
Here we go.
That's right. As always, joined by Ned Snark, R.A. Minahan, and Austin from New London. We've switched places, but we're picking up right where the previous episode left off. If you haven't checked it out, I believe it's just History Buffs, the Constitution, right? R.A.?
Yeah.
Producer R.A.? Okay.
Constitution.
So this is
great work.
And I think this one's going to be titled
Great work.
That's the
It's
title.
great work. Hashtag great work.
It is.
So
by it.
History Buffs the Constitution. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Pretty spirited discussion there. I think we're going to have another one here. Title of this episode would probably be R.A. Minahan Dies on Screen, because he has an awful take of the Electoral College that I think we're going to get to right about now. So we were talking last episode about state rights and federal rights and the Bill of Rights and how it's, says what the federal government can and can't do, and then basically says everything else is for the states. And I think that ties nicely into the Electoral College, because the whole purpose of it is so states still have a say in who represents the entire country and who makes decisions for the entire country, which all now 50 states are a part of. Does anyone, Ned or Austin, do you have anything you want to add to that? Any thoughts on the Electoral College before R.A. and I kind of, get let off the chain here?
I was going to say, go ahead, Austin. You can go first.
I was just going to let them go, and then I was maybe going to comment later. I wanted to see the fireworks happen.
Well, I was going to say, of this group, I possess 42 electoral votes myself in this quorum here of 4. I can't wait for this, because I am actually kind of down the middle. I like the Electoral College. I realize its importance, but I personally don't like it. I don't think we should have it, but I kind of like it. It's weird.
Yeah, I'll agree with Ned on that. Like, I think it's important, but there's certain aspects of it that just I don't agree with. Like,
it's like cocaine. I kind of like it, but I know it's not good for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, like, do you want me to get into specifics, or do you want to? Should I just leave it at that?
Go ahead.
We got to do it now, because it's going to go.
Yeah. I mean, specifically, I think because of the Electoral College, the entire election is focused on Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, all these swing states, and
as opposed to a few big cities in California and New York City.
I think there's ways you can work around it, but we can
like
talk
what?
about
Okay.
So wait, we have to read it. 5 states.
Oh, now here we go. Here comes the spin zone, because
go.
No. See, producer RA gets to handle all the producing stuff. He has to put all the stuff
Fake
in
news.
on his own. I think he sat down. He took work off early. I know that for a fact. He's been typing up these little banners to drop in for hours now.
Oh, what happened?
No.
Now, here we go. He's censoring RA. That's what we call him. Censoring RA.
Censoring RA.
Censoring RA.
There we go. Sensitive censoring RA.
I don't like the Electoral College.
So I get. All right, you want.
In the 2016 election, I think it was 99% of campaign finance or campaign dollars went to just like Ohio and Pennsylvania, and like that seems insane to me. It's just like there's other places in the country that matter, and I think
But we know who those other states are voting for, though.
I mean,
okay, but doesn't that?
I think the bigger issue is the winner.
Election?
No,
like you're literally appealing to
no one's holding a gun to their head, and Georgia shows in the last election. No one said you better vote Republican or else. Clearly, they have their own opinion. They can choose. They have a choice.
I think the bigger issue is
don't have a choice.
I think the bigger issue is with the winner-take-all method of the Electoral College. I think if you broke it up between who their electorate is and broke it down, like California would have some Republican votes, and so in Texas would have some Democratic votes. I think if you broke it down like that, I think that the presidential candidate would spend a lot more time in other states than just Pennsylvania.
Broke it down by what though? By
county? By elector in the college, in that state's college.
This
so
is like congressional districts.
If they've got 42 electoral votes, like I think California does, or 50,
it's 55, right? I think
55. So I would be we don't see how they voted. We just see the end result. 50, So I would love to see that what Austin's describing, because that'd be really cool. Because then you would know where to spend your money. Shit, in California it was like 32 to 20 or 23. So, we're pretty close. We're 11 votes away. We're 11 electors away from swinging the state. But then, maybe we should spend the money there.
But then if you do it like that, though, then there's going to be no point to swing states. You wouldn't have it anymore. Like the swing states.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't need swing. Why should we?
I don't
No,
like
no,
swing.
I'm not saying you do, but
determine every election.
no, I'm not saying you do. What it sounds like Ned's saying is that you need the swing state, like you need the. He's saying you're 11 counties away from flipping it, right? Or 11 electors away from flipping it. But if it wasn't done by state, then that wouldn't matter anyway. So I feel like that's not relevant to the discussion.
What I'm saying is, if you had more transparency into how the electors voted within the state, you would know where to spend your money next election season. Is what I'm saying. So it wouldn't be coming down to Pennsylvania or Michigan or Ohio. You know, you'd say, like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Fucking Texas is close to switching blue. Look at this. Look how it broke out. Ooh, maybe we should spend the money there. That's what I'm saying. I also hated when, and you guys probably remember when you were younger, elections being called by 9 o'clock at night, East Coast time. Fucking hate that because the electoral.
Like even in this election, as soon as the California votes closed, they're like, all right, 55 points to Joe Biden. 55.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I thought you were going to argue for a popular vote. Is that not accurate?
For like the same way that we vote for every other thing in this country, yeah.
Like what? What do you mean?
Like the Senate races, the House of Rep races,
like state Senate and state House races.
No, like national, like Ed Markey.
Yes, but that's from Massachusetts, correct?
Yeah, from a popular vote. Yeah,
right. From one.
Yeah. So when you vote for like your senator in Connecticut, is it not done by popular vote, or they do it by like
no? It is
like
my
a couple
point.
Things from each county.
It is. My point is that's a state election, though, not a federal election.
Well, no, it is a federal election for the U.S. Senate. That's a federal election.
But he's a representative of the state. He's not a representative of the country.
Well, yeah, but it's still a federal election.
But he's not voted on by the federal populace. He's voted on.
He's representing. In theory, he's representing the interests of Ed Markey, Massachusetts, of Murphy, Connecticut. Like in theory, they are representing the interests of the states.
Okay,
he's terrible.
Who?
So they're elected different. I don't.
They're not elected differently. They're still elected by whether it's local government, whether it's state government, whether it's the federal government with the Senate and the House. It's still done by direct democracy. One vote equals one vote, as opposed
correct.
To Wyoming, where you have 3 electoral votes, where your vote literally counts 4 times more than someone in California.
Wyoming has, what do you say, 3 electoral
colleges? Overall, it doesn't impact the election one way or the other. All right. I see.
It doesn't matter. It means that your vote counts less. Why wouldn't you want your vote to actually count? That's what I don't understand.
California has more electoral college votes than Wyoming does.
A lot more.
Yeah, but in proportion to the population, no. It's Wyoming is 3 times. Or Wyoming has like 600,000 people.
Okay, but that's not how it works, though. They get 3.
So what you're saying is that you don't think that every person should have a vote that counts.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
College, it doesn't mean it means that you shouldn't have a
vote.
vote.
I think the 49% of people that would lose in a popular vote should have a right to vote. You're discrediting the minority of voters in whatever election that is. You're saying they should have no say. Whoever doesn't win, it's winner take all, popular vote. Whoever voted for the other side, go screw. It doesn't matter.
Well, isn't that what you're doing state by state?
No, because it's.
Let's say if you voted, like if you're one of the 6 million people who voted Republican in California, like your votes literally don't count. They just don't.
I mean, yeah, you could say the same about Massachusetts, Connecticut. Yeah.
If you yourself personally vote for the losing candidate in your state, it doesn't even matter if you're in I don't know, Florida, and you voted Republican. Like your votes literally don't matter. It just doesn't.
In Florida?
In Florida, Connecticut, wherever.
What do you mean Florida doesn't count? The Republicans won Florida.
I know that, but still, even overall, it doesn't count.
Why?
You lost.
Why?
You lost. Same way if you're in Massachusetts, right, and you vote,
you lose. If you the popular vote, you lose.
Yeah.
If there's 150 million votes and 80 million won for one candidate, the other 70 million, you lost.
I'm confused too. All right.
Thing.
So if a state votes for the Democratic nominee and they win the majority of the popular vote,
bad example.
No, I'm just saying any state. I'm saying any state. State. So any state votes and they 51-49 vote for a particular candidate. 49 lost.
Yeah, and then in a direct democracy, they can go screw.
literally does not matter in that state, as opposed to if you put it, you're 49% of the vote, like the 6 million people in California, their vote actually matters because it goes toward the actual candidate, as opposed to just literally being thrown away like garbage.
Wouldn't that same argument be true though for the people in Wyoming? Because you're voting for candidates, but the reason you vote for candidates because it's not you're thinking like as like party. You're thinking like Democrat versus Republican. The Democrats win, Republicans lose, and the Republicans are screwed. That's not how people vote though. This last election it was, but historically that hasn't been how people voted. They voted for interest, they vote for candidates, and they vote for their own interests. So what that does is it discredits the interests of people in Wyoming, like you said, people in I don't know, I guess Arizona, Nevada, bags, people in Idaho, people in South Carolina, right? It discredits them because now you're not voting on someone who has their best interest in mind. It forces people to use the whole country because they're being elected by the whole country, not just the largest population centers.
What do you mean elected by the whole country? Of course they are. Like that's the whole point. Like when you vote one person, one vote, like you're voting for
right. But would you agree the majority of people in big cities feel similarly or would vote the same? A majority of people in, let's say, the 5 largest cities in America, would they vote the same, do you think?
I would assume so. But if you take all the like underlying areas in between the big cities, they all vote the same too. Like if you were to look at a map of like,
but if it's a popular vote, if it's a popular vote, you're going to campaign for where the most people are because you're trying to get the most votes possible.
As opposed to campaigning in 3 states.
Everywhere.
You really think like Trump's
3 states? Trump went to 15 states in the last 5 days.
Oh yeah, he really visited like California and Massachusetts.
Because he knows he's not going to win those, but you can say
so why not go somewhere where you can actually like impact?
Okay, but he wouldn't go to Massachusetts if it was a popular vote because he knows 60% of them, at least, if not closer to 70, are going to vote against him anyway. So why would he bother?
But why not like take the risk of trying to convert voters? Isn't the whole point?
Because you're wasting time. No, the whole point is to get elected. You're not going to waste your time somewhere in a state that you're only going to get 35% of the vote anyway.
You're right. We're right about that in the electoral college process. Like when your Republican votes mean absolutely nothing. Of course, Trump's not going to go there. But if he has the opportunity to like swing votes, why not?
But that's what he does. He went to Maine 3 times, right? 4 times.
He went to Maine with how many electoral votes?
I know, but still, under your pretense, that's what he did.
Contradicting your own argument, then.
Yeah.
So with the electoral college, he goes to these places. Would he go to Maine if it was a popular vote?
Yeah, he should. He should go to every single.
That's not the question. Would he go to Maine if it was a popular vote?
Yeah, why not?
Any candidate.
Why wouldn't he go there?
Because there's less people than Manhattan.
Correct.
LA, San Francisco, there's just less people.
So are you saying
the biggest bang for his buck doing a rally in Madison Square Garden is going to get in Bangor Municipal Theater?
Swing the vote. Like you don't think there's Republicans in Manhattan?
What's the percentage?
Manhattan is
give me a percentage. Give me a percentage.
Manhattan.
16 million people. Give me a percentage.
In Manhattan, there are not 16 million people. There's 2 million people.
In the 5 boroughs.
In the 5 boroughs, okay, I didn't say that.
Give me a percentage. In New York City.
Manhattan. New York City.
Give me a percentage. How many
of Republicans?
Call it, yeah. Well, of the 15 million, what's the percentage of Republicans in the 5 boroughs? Call it 40%. Is that high?
I would say it's 20%.
So why wouldn't Trump want to go into his own backyard and try to swing voters?
His own backyard.
Because why would he? Why would
not from Manhattan?
Because the value isn't there. Like from a cost benefit analysis standpoint,
right?
Why would he want to go someplace that he knows he's not going to get a very large proportion?
Should he go to every state and say, "I'm your guy because I'm going to do this"?
I think you should appeal to the most amount of people as possible, as opposed to appealing to Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Michigan.
Okay, but
why not appeal? Try to appeal to everyone.
Okay, so by that logic, if Trump went to Manhattan, if Trump was in the Barclays Center, let's say no COVID, in the Barclays Center campaigning every single week, how much of that vote would he have flipped?
Well, that'd be a bad idea because then he'd be neglecting the rest of the country.
Isn't that the point? Because of this system. Because if it was a popular vote, he would be neglecting the rest of the country. But now, because of the system we're in,
he's neglecting the country either way.
Can we agree, for the sake of argument, that it is impossible to go to every single state in every single day to campaign? That's not realistic. We agree, right?
So they know, but it's possible to go to every single state.
He was in 2016.
It is possible to visit every single state.
Absolutely possible.
But no candidate does because
that's
they
my
don't go
point.
to Wyoming.
Right.
They don't go to they go to Arizona. They don't go to South Dakota.
Because even if it was
or Alaska.
Even if a Democrat
goes
goes
to Hawaii,
Wyoming,
I don't even think they go to Hawaii.
Again, it's a cost. Hawaii is probably, from a cost benefit analysis, is the least profitable to go to for votes. I mean, the amount of money that would cost to go out there and then spend on campaign finances out there is ridiculous.
John Joe's a scumbag, and you know it, by the way.
Josh, man.
But all right, let me just ask a question. Is part of your issue the disparity in population compared to electoral votes? Like Wyoming has 3 with a population of what, less than 1 million, I think.
No, my
California has
that one person's vote should count as one vote, as opposed to 6 million people instead of 11 million people's votes counting as 55 votes and 6 million people's votes counting as nothing.
But again, it's
I'm not a fan of burning votes. I'm a fan of having one person, one vote.
You're not burning. It's just a middleman. That's really all it is.
You were just discarding votes.
I just don't.
You guys just don't like individual rights. It's fine.
No. You don't like. No.
Listen,
What you don't like is states' rights.
Worse for you guys.
Nope.
You guys
don't like.
find that you're.
Nope.
Let's just say out of nowhere.
Big
Let's just say KDL voted.
That's what I call
it. Say KDL voted
government RA
in Connecticut. All right.
I talk, you talk.
Your vote got ripped up and just like wiped as toilet paper. Like you literally don't matter in the current system. You just don't. If you voted Republican in Connecticut, I'm not saying you did, but yeah, your vote.
Okay, but my vote mattered. Okay, I voted. My vote mattered if I voted Democrat. Then why?
No, it matters either way. It matters either way, because you get one vote, you get one say, and it's not a direct democracy this way. Because you still have representatives, representing you in the federal government. This way, just like everything else, you are voting it directly.
Yes, and the other 49% of people can go screw.
That's you lost me, all right.
You're saying
individual rights, and it's like
the tyranny of the majority. Tyranny of the majority is the biggest way to create a tyrannical government.
Tyranny of the majority? You mean like a majority vote?
Yes,
of the majority.
Because what happens?
That's a tyranny.
What do you mean?
Well, you just said 49%.
I didn't say 49%.
You said 49% of the votes just go fuck off. So it is the tyranny of the majority.
Yeah, I said that's good. But you were making that
under
point,
a popular vote. Yeah, that's the point I got that you were making. Was like if I lived in Connecticut and I voted for as a Republican, vote didn't count. Like
under the electoral college, no, it doesn't matter.
In Connecticut, if it was a popular vote and I voted for Trump, my vote would have counted less than it did with electoral college.
Okay, so what's
because he didn't win the popular vote, so I voted for him. What do I get?
That is a specific instance. That is not the overall theme.
Well, I mean, it was a president. We're talking about presidential elections. It's only been like 40 of them.
In 1960, Nixon would have won. It doesn't flip all the time, but I don't understand why you guys just don't want your votes to actually matter, even if it's just hypothetical.
No, I don't want. You're right. I don't want my vote to matter. I want everyone's vote to matter.
Yeah,
exactly. So everyone gets an individual vote that.
And they do right now.
No, they don't, because you end up.
They don't.
States. No, you don't.
Did you get a half ballot on November?
No,
I didn't.
Actually, I didn't vote for either of them because I don't think you should be running for president that old. But if you voted for Trump in Massachusetts, you got 0 votes because it doesn't matter. In Massachusetts, your vote did not matter.
You know where it wouldn't matter?
That's why
the popular vote. It wouldn't matter literally anywhere that's not a big city.
Yeah, that's like. Yeah.
It wouldn't matter.
The flyover states.
Flyover states, done. Goodbye. Their interests will never be a factor again. This forces people. What would Trump have cared as much about Pennsylvania and what Joe Biden said the debate about how he wants to get rid of fracking and all that? Would he have cared about that as much if Pennsylvania didn't matter to him? He wouldn't have cared about those jobs.
Pennsylvania shouldn't be the only thing he cares about, though. It should be everyone. It just doesn't represent the interest.
He campaigned in 15 states over the last 5 or 6 days.
He did go to as many as he could. My question though, RA, is that then what if it was the because kind of what I was thinking earlier about the California example, the electoral votes are split among the population. So if your popular state voted, if the population voted 51-49 for a presidential candidate, shouldn't the electoral college report that way too? That's what I was kind of getting at, was you would report it with a slight majority. Like if you had 55 votes, you'd split it, the percentage.
I mean, I
Take a
Proportional,
percentage
yeah.
split the
That
way
would
you
be
need to. Yeah.
representative of the people's majority, as opposed to you've got actually 51% of people voting one way, so the whole state has to now vote that way, as opposed
That's
to
what you're talking about.
of people,
And that's the tyranny of the majority.
And
That's the tyranny of
the
the
electoral
minority,
college. That's the electoral college is the tyranny of the majority.
of the minority.
The
Because they're a small
majority.
percentage.
How?
Well, yeah, because what if you're
minority.
It's the minority because you have a smaller. Florida has what 20? What do we have? I forgot. We have 25. What do you guys have in
20,
Massachusetts?
20 you have 27, I thought. In Florida.
What do you have in Connecticut?
7.
7 or 8.
No, Massachusetts is more than Connecticut. We got 6.5, almost.
We have
7.
5.
Yeah.
No, it's 7. No, you guys have like 8.
You guys, Connecticut is.
No, but
Massachusetts.
it's a combination. It's a combination of the House and the Senate. So we
3.5
have
million. What, you guys don't even know your own population. Get out of here.
we have
20
5. We have
22
5
million.
congressmen and 2 senators. No,
You guys have 3.5 million people. In
Connecticut,
I'm telling you,
Connecticut has
5 congressmen
7
and 2
electoral
senators.
votes in the
Yeah,
electoral
thank you.
college.
Right
I just
again.
Googled
Right
it.
again. KDL. Right again.
It doesn't go by per million people, though. It goes by congressional districts.
Yeah,
Massachusetts
by
has
districts.
11 electoral college votes.
Yeah. Doesn't mean we have
Yeah,
11
but
million people.
Yeah. No, I knew that. But so it is the tyranny of the minority because are there situations where the popular vote of a state goes one way and the electoral college decides to go another way? They are
No.
electors. They're unbidden. They're right.
No.
Historically, that hasn't happened. No,
A story that hasn't happened.
it could because remember people calling for it in 16 with Hillary saying vote for
That's
Hillary
correct.
instead, and now you got Trump supporters doing the same thing saying vote.
exact same thing.
Yeah.
Weak by them. But yeah. So
I
it is.
think that.
Do you want me to keep going? You had enough.
No,
already.
I think that if you are
Jefferson
against
hated the middle class.
you are against a popular vote, maybe your party should just produce better candidates that appeal to more people.
No, I care about the common man, the individual, states' rights. You're a big government guy. You want to make everyone's vote count the same, allegedly, even though it's only going to matter for the population center.
Yeah, you're right. Why would I want my vote to count as much as your vote because we're one person to one person? You're absolutely right. I never even thought of that. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to be equal to everyone else?
because states still have rights. I thought, unless they got rid of the 10th Amendment, I think it's still there.
I think the point I'm seeing though is in against popular vote is what KDL is saying is my vote and your vote mean the same, but there are more of your vote in this one concentrated area.
Right, the interests are different.
And by the way, I have a lot more of my votes.
In one concentrated state
Are
that
the interest of 5 million people in New York City more important than the interest of 10,000 farmers in Iowa?
Better question. Are the interests of 10 million voters in New York City more important than the 10 million farmers across 5 states?
Around the.
Mm-hmm. No, because it's 10 million and 10 million. It's the same thing.
No, but really,
but are they? Well, you tell me then, because that's 5 different states, and if it was popular vote, then all the votes, then it would be identical then.
Right. Then we'd have no problem.
Because it's not an electoral college vote. It's you have 10 million people here, you have 10 million people there. So their votes just you tally them up towards each candidate. They count as much as the other one.
There's more hipsters in Brooklyn.
Are you saying that there are more people than others?
No, I'm saying there are more like-minded individuals in large population centers than there are in the rest of the country.
Okay.
Correct.
And if it was a popular vote, those like-minded individuals would have more of a say than the rest of the country that's more diverse in thought, diverse in opinion, diverse in needs, diverse in wants.
The tyranny of the majority.
And then now their votes don't matter. You're worried about votes not mattering. Their votes now wouldn't matter because they're only getting elected by the hipsters in Brooklyn instead of the farmers that are feeding the country in
California.
Same thing.
Yeah. So if the same thing is in California as your example, right there, same thing as California right now, then we're on the same page. Like as opposed to having California 55 votes from hipsters, you want 1 million votes from hipsters in Brooklyn? It doesn't make any sense.
That's not what he's saying.
One vote, one person.
No, but that's not what I'm saying though. I'm saying
he's saying one vote, one person, but he's not saying what you're saying, all right.
But I'm saying now the vote of the majority, the interests only matter for the majority. The other interests are going to be ignored because the person that got elected got elected by, call it 55% of the vote. So they're going to do what the 55% of those people wanted. How about the other 45%?
People thinking that people cannot be swayed. You're sitting there saying like, okay, like, the majority of the inner cities are blue, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It does not fall on the candidate to, hey, maybe have a better platform that appeals to more people.
Trump did that.
What if that platform?
What's my example for that?
Because he lost by 7 million votes.
What if that platform is being squelched by big media?
No. But you're saying
instead of having the safety net of the electoral college to bail you out, maybe strap yourself up by your bootstraps, pick yourself up, and have a better candidate.
And go campaign in New York City. Go campaign in Dallas.
Why not?
Go campaign in San Francisco.
All right, you have to understand though that if it was strictly a popular vote, it doesn't matter who, Trump or whoever, the political.
They're still going to campaign in the best spots possible.
They're going to exactly the most concentrated spots possible to get the best bang for your buck. That's what a campaign manager is going to say. That you're the candidate, and you're going to say, "Well, I think I should be in Brattleboro, Vermont," and he's going to say, "No, just go to freaking Albany." Okay,
those who are wondering,
it's like no, we don't have any chance. We'd have no chance in Vermont.
Guess what? If you have a popular vote, do you think it's going to change people's way of thinking then? How they approach an election, maybe?
No, I don't. That's why I think it's a problem. No,
definitely
I don't.
not. Like
we talked about last episode with the bureaucracy everyone had a problem with, and how it's the people behind the scenes who have been there for the longest time and doing the same thing the same ways every single time. If you have your popular vote and all of a sudden your campaign manager is like, wait a minute, we have to approach this differently. You think that's going to spark some new ideas?
I'm saying spark new ideas just to get elected. My point is, you're right. Let's say for whatever reason it was a popular vote this last election, and Trump campaigned hard in Philadelphia and won it by 5%. That I don't care about that. My point is that's still discrediting the rest of Pennsylvania because he didn't give a shit about it.
He doesn't give a shit about Pennsylvania anyways. He only gave a shit about
for the votes he did.
He only cared about that. He cared about the rural counties in Pennsylvania.
No, he cared about the people that required that had enough influence for him to win the state.
Guys,
isn't that what's most important?
We don't even have to keep saying he or they. It's like this is
in general. Yeah,
every election, every single fucking election.
Yeah, it could be a Democrat going.
They're not going to Harrisburg. They're going to fucking Philadelphia. They're not going to Pottsville. They're going to fucking Philadelphia.
Which means they don't care about. They care about population size.
It's not that they don't care. It's like it's the money. It's the bang for the buck.
It's a cost benefit analysis. You have to spend the least amount of money to get the most amount of votes in the high population centers, and then you're going. The only ideas that are going to matter are going to be their ideas,
as opposed to right now having only 5 states' ideas that matter.
It's not 5. Would you agree that there's different interest? Let's say it is 5 states, even though it's not. Would you agree that there's different interest in those 5 states as opposed to like New York City? Are there more diverse more diverse opinions and things to campaign on and things that people want in those 5 states that you named? Do Florida and Wisconsin have different needs from a president? Different ideas on what a president is?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Would New York City have that?
New York City and New York City?
Yes.
I get it, since they're the same thing.
Exactly. So, yes, you can say it's only 5 states.
That's a great comparison, by the way, New York City and New York City.
Yeah. But that's what you're arguing about. You're arguing about population centers.
Call it New York and Philadelphia or New York and Boston.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. Just pick 2 large population centers. They typically have, those dense population centers typically have very similar ideologies.
So you don't want the similar ideology of what the majority of your country needs? You care about
No. I care,
but
yes,
they need
let's
those
do
things,
that.
But then the country doesn't. Their needs are not necessarily the same as the needs of a farmer in Idaho.
But it's the needs of the majority of the country.
No, it's not. That's the point.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
If the popular vote votes one way, that's
the popular vote would be, which would be a disaster.
So their needs are being met.
So exactly what you're saying is screw the rest of the country.
That's what they're saying right now.
How? Again,
these states they only campaign hard in we'll call it a dozen states. They discard 40 states. They don't give a shit. They know they're going to vote one way either way.
Right.
There's no
and if they didn't
even go there and give a shit about those.
So all right. So Georgia went blue last election. Is the next Republican going to campaign a little harder in Georgia than maybe Trump did?
I would assume so.
Because it's not solid red anymore. So they're trying to earn those votes back. So you get people campaigning when you don't know how they're going to vote. That's going to happen whether it's a popular vote, whether it's electoral college. They're still going to campaign where they need the votes. If they know that,
why not try to change people's votes then on a wider scale? Like you just said, like they're in a campaign where people are going to vote for, or they're going to change votes. Like in a popular system, you can change votes everywhere, as opposed to just in one state. You can change people like the individual, and like you've got hardcore people on the right, hardcore people on the left. There are 2% of the population. Everyone else, their minds can be changed pretty easily if you have a platform that appeals to them.
They'll be trying to change votes. Again, we're not arguing that. I agree. They're going to, if the system changes a popular vote, they're going to try to change votes in large population centers, and at the same time telling the rest of the country to go kick rocks.
That's what they're doing right now anyways. They're telling Massachusetts to go kick rocks.
But they're not, though, because they know they're getting those votes either way.
They know they're getting those votes. Yeah.
They're not telling them to kick rocks. They say, we got you guys. You guys voting for us? Good? Good.
I think it's a matter of money and time, to be honest.
And money and time. They should rethink. They should be able to and like you guys said, the bureaucracy's bad. I remember last episode we did it, a week ago. Bureaucracy is bad.
Right.
But the same bureaucracy runs the elections. It's the same campaign. So why not mix it up?
So why would the popular would the popular vote change that?
It could. Like you just said, like instead of being like, okay, we don't have to campaign here. Like now you are forced to.
No, now you don't have to campaign in 98% of the country because you just go to the largest cities.
The largest cities make up 98% of the country.
Look at the county breakdown. I have it up. You can pull it. It's in the document. There's
the county breakdown. 98% of the country.
Not 98%, but it's an exaggeration. But if you look at the map, it was what 90% red last election. In terms of, or in 2016, just in terms of counties.
Exactly, and it's only 4 million. What, did he lose by 4 million?
And he lost, but that's exactly Trump lost the election.
You can swing 4 million people in Massachusetts, or like not Massachusetts, but California, and like all these states that are like solid blue. You can swing a couple votes.
You could, but what's happening? So now it looks like it's a one-way street. You're just trying to flip votes one side. The same thing's going to be happening in places like Ohio, for example, in Cincinnati and Cleveland. Places Ohio went red. Where do you think those cities voted? Florida went red. Miami-Dade, even though it was closer than it's been in a long time, still went blue. Yeah. So, but what you're arguing is going to happen by both sides either way. My point is, with them doing that, they're still discredit. Whether it's a Democrat in a Republican stronghold city or a Republican in a Democrat stronghold city, either way, they're ignoring everyone else. And they don't do that when it's the Electoral College and it's states.
So no, they still do, because why else would you?
They only do it though because they know how they're going to vote, and the same thing would happen with the popular vote. So if you know how they're going to vote, you're not going to bother.
And assuming how people are going to vote, like you don't think that's a problem? You don't think people should have an open mind?
No, you can change.
If you have someone going,
Ari's good at moving goalposts.
I don't have any moving goalposts.
I think people should have an open mind. You're right.
Okay. Yeah. So why wouldn't you try to change the individual's mind as opposed to change the entire state?
That's really what the Electoral College is.
Changing the individual's mind.
If you change enough individuals, what's going to happen to the state? There's a great example of this in Georgia. You heard it? There's runoffs and stuff in Georgia.
Yep.
There's more elections happening. Yes.
Two senates. Yep.
2 senates. Yes. So Georgia historically has been red.
Okay.
At least recent history, and it flipped to blue.
Okay.
So that's proof that states can change their mind if enough people vote the right way. But the issue is when it's a small minority doing it, and then everyone else gets screwed.
But it's not a small minority; it's the majority of the population.
Majority of the population of the country, not the state.
Yeah. Well, if you're saying that, if a certain, Georgia, if Atlanta and Savannah, let's just say, or Cobb County carries the whole state, that's still a majority of the state.
Okay, but are the people of the interest in Cobb County different than the people of the interest on the coastline?
Yeah. So,
but by that only matters if you're talking about Cobb County, then that's the only interest that matter to the state. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter about the other counties. Their interests don't matter. They don't now that it's popular vote. It's only Cobb County. Everyone else doesn't matter.
Campaigning. So basically, our fundamental difference is that you're more concerned with Like,
yes, more people. You're right. Yes,
individuals.
I care about more people. You're right.
No, I care about more people. I think everyone should.
You care about a majority of people, not the most people.
Listen, just because you're a communist at heart and you're a teacher doesn't.
I'm
mean
the communist.
You're communist. I'll tell you.
You're the one. Oh,
listen. I know I've had a lot of off.
You just want to learn
conversation. Nope. You know that the red light's not on.
You just. Oh, I've heard you say many times how much you appreciate Steve's views on Russia and other things. I mean, I've heard you say that. I've heard it.
That was good. That was really good.
I don't know what you teach your kids. I'm just going to say. I don't want.
What I'm saying, no, you care about the majority. The minority can go screw. RA hates minorities. Done.
Here we go. And with that, like, subscribe.
Oh my god!
Type that in your tagline. RA hates minorities.
Pretty sure Ned was anti-Roe v. Wade and anti-gay marriage in the last episode, but
I am.
That was a week ago. I can't really remember.
I am not
right. That's right. It was so long ago. How could we?
Don't think there should be laws against it. I think it should be left up to the states to decide.
RA hates the minority opinion. How about that?
No.
Maybe you should get better.
No, Steve. Nope. Nope. Steve never gonna agree. No, Steve knows that's fake news. Fake news.
Go back to quote from Ronald Reagan.
All right. Do we cut here or what?
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
I guess. I mean, I hate to say that I'm right, but I guess I'm right.
I think the other two here would hate to say you're right too.
Electoral college propaganda.
No,
buried them.
No.
When it comes down to it, I care about the individual vote. I think one person should have one vote. Like they do in every other election in the country.
Exactly. And you think that 51% of the country should have a say over the other 49%. And that's okay too.
What's the difference between that and if you have, if the electoral college...
I believe in states' rights. I believe the interest of Massachusetts is different from the interest of California.
What if it gets down to 271 to 269? Then what?
Then it hits the electoral.
You're telling the minority to go screw, even though it's that close. It's the same as that thing.
No.
51 to 49. Same as that thing.
How? The interest, because it's different areas of the country. My point is, it's a big country. Put that in the quotes right now. God damn it. It's a big country. And the interests of different parts of the country, believe it or not, are different.
You don't think differences, like in a different part of the states, like you don't think Dallas is the same thing as some rancher in, I don't know, Armadillo? You don't think they're different? You don't think they're different?
They have less of a difference than
definitely.
Minnesota.
Definitely. The values of people that live in Austin is completely different than the ranchers that live in Armadillo.
100%. The values of the people in Boston are different than the values of the people in Worcester, for Christ's sake.
Or in Western Mass, where it doesn't really matter what they think.
There you go. Tyranny of the majority.
If we want to wrap this up by maybe finding some middle ground, I would be open to do it by congressional district.
Because then you just have the majority of the House.
If you wanted an actual tangible solution, popular vote's never going to pass. It's
not going to happen.
I mean, it'll never happen because you have to have a constitutional amendment and
that pesky constitution again. God damn it!
A compromise would be to do it by congressional districts and having electoral votes be allotted that way.
I think it should be it should not be winner take all for the electoral votes by state. I think
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think it should reflect the population of the popular vote. And who empowers these electors, by the way? Do we know that? Where do they come from? Who are they?
I have no idea. I've never even.
That's my thing too. Is I'd like a little.
And the reason is it's never been an issue until these last two elections. That's why.
Well, I always wondered, even long before this, who are these electors? How do they get there? How do they get that job? Are they already in? Is it your senator? Maybe, I don't know.
I guarantee they have a big fat pension waiting for them too.
I guarantee they've got reinforced concrete in their driveway. The trucks back up, dropping shit off for free.
I don't know if it's that, but okay, yeah.
But I'd like to know, how did they get that job?
Oh, serious, that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
All right.
That was great.
You guys both. Give me who won. Let's hear it.
Get out of the way.
Ned, Austin, who won?
I think both made compelling arguments.
But I think that's why everyone here is for this tyrannistic electoral college and just hates
tyranny.
No. Tyranny. No.
Here we go again.
You want to talk about tyranny?
Dude, I'm starving.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. A little democracy. Yeah, that's tyranny. I forgot. My bad.
a representative democracy.
Yeah. As far as like representative of the states and the federal
Beware
government,
the tyranny of the majority.
but not as far as voting for political office is concerned.
Exactly for that reason, we elect these people to represent our interests. I can't elect someone to represent my interests as a farmer in Iowa when there's 15 million of them doing it back on the East Coast for the opposite person. Then what happens to my interest? See ya, gone. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Did I free? Oh, I thought you froze. All right.
No, I'm just.
He has nothing to say anymore. He's been beaten down. He's a beaten dog.
Because it's the same thing, like I said, the farmer in
You're talking in
Wyoming,
circles.
those interests of those huge states on the East Coast that have the electoral college votes, same thing. It just doesn't matter. I'll tell you.
There we go. RA says that those individual votes don't
They
matter.
don't matter.
Okay. Let's close it
I
here.
mean,
Yep.
let's be honest.
That's the headline.
Yep. Proof
We're just
again.
against individual freedom, RA. That's all.
I'm a big popular vote guy.
You say
He's a big federal government guy.
The
red light
Literally
goes
figuratively.
off.
Listen, I
Loves
love
a big
the
federal
Constitution.
government.
I'm just gonna say this: is that KDL